Kansas State ended up missing a bowl game last season. Kind of surprised me. I thought they'd do as much better than they did, just because with the team that they had, I thought they had plenty of talent to work with. I mean, they had two quarterbacks I really trusted in. I mean, I still do, of course, but how are they going to do 2019? That is what we're going to be going over today. Kansas State schedule preview. We're going to be going over a few players this team will be losing, who they're going to be returning. Also, we're going to be looking at their schedule for the first time this offseason. Kansas State went 5-7 in 2018. Was more of a difficult kind of year. Missed a bowl game. They returned Skylar Thompson, and they also have Delton. He's the other quarterback. They had Thompson had 1,300 yards, 9 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. And really, looking at that, 4 interceptions doesn't seem bad, but that is still not the best ratio. I think if he can drop some of those interceptions, definitely Thompson, for one, could be the main quarterback that they rely on. And two, he could actually be a pretty good quarterback. I think there's a lot of potential in this guy. I watched him some last year, and I really do believe that he can do some great things for this program next season. Delton was also a quarterback once again, but he will likely not start, I do not think. They lose Barnes, who's a running back. They also lose one receiver and 2 offensive linemen. So really only they lose 4 starters on offense, even though they do lose Barnes. That is a tough loss there. But they do lose 1 linebacker, a cornerback, and a safety on defense. So really, defensively, they don't lose a whole lot either. I really think this team is going to have a lot of potential next season. They will improve in 2019, I do believe. And I definitely think they'll also make a bowl game. It's definitely possible. Definitely do think that they've got a good shot at it. Here's what their schedule looks like. I kind of looked over this, and I was like, wow, this is probably one of the most difficult schedules in the Big 12 next season. I mean, you got Mississippi State on the road, so really your non-conference games aren't as easy. You got to go to Oklahoma State. You also have Baylor, TCU. You also have to play the Big 3 in the Big 12, Oklahoma, Texas, and Iowa State. Those 3 I'm expecting to be the best teams in the Big 12. So you got to worry about all those games. And then you also, I mean, really, this is not an easy schedule for Kansas State. But I do still expect them to make it through it. I do believe that they're going to make it to a bowl game. This is what I'm kind of expecting. I think they'll beat Nichols and Bowling Green pretty easily. They'll also beat Kansas on the road and West Virginia at home. Really not expecting much from West Virginia next season just because of all the losses that they're having. They're probably losing the most players of any Power 5 conference team. But then you also got Texas Tech on the road. Texas is also on the road. Then Oklahoma and Iowa State, both home games. I think they're going to win one of those 2. I don't think they're going to win both. I do think they're going to win one of those. They'll pull off a pretty big upset there. That Texas game really is going to be difficult. I don't know if they'll win that one. Texas Tech, they definitely have a shot at, but it's going to be tough, of course, because Texas Tech likes to upset a whole lot of teams at home. And then Baylor, of course, I think is going to be very improved next season, believe it or not. You can watch my schedule preview on them. And then TCU is also a home game. I don't expect TCU to be great, but I do think that should be a win there because it's a home game for 1, and for 2, once again, I'm not expecting much from TCU. Just a game to note there as well. Oklahoma State is always a tough place to play, same as Mississippi State. So I do believe that they will lose one of those games. I do think they're going to win one of those. Mississippi State, though I do expect to be a better team next season, so it will likely be Oklahoma State that they do beat. But estimated record-wise, I'm saying 5-7 and 9-3. If you want a more definite answer as to what record I'm estimating right now, I'd say 7-5 to 8-4. I do expect them to make a bowl game, possibly go a little further than that. But I do not expect them to be putting up 9 wins. I'm putting that on here just because it's a possibility. I'm not ruling it out, but it's pretty unlikely. It's almost as unlikely as them going 5-7. But anyway, that's about it for Kansas State's schedule preview. We're going over the Big 12 right now. We are almost done. So yeah, stay tuned for the rest of those schedule previews. And thanks for sticking around, and I will see you all later.